Hello Pokemon XYZ fans, with only 49 left, and the series basically wrapped up as we've seen with episode 47, and all the inertia of the series having winded down with the final arc of the plot and more shipping concluded, as well as all the battles. We can now finally discuss what is happening overall with the series. 49, I believe, if that changes something, I will talk about it. I will talk about it anyway, but this is finally just my overall arching critiques and praise for the series. I have been fanboying about the series a lot. I will just admit that right now. I have not been very critical of it as a result of my love for the series, but now is the time to be critical about it and give some more thoughtful praise, hopefully. I mean, as a result of being such a big fan, there will be a lot of fanboying, but hey, this is my channel, so you're just going to have to deal with it if you're watching. So my first piece of critique would be the pacing of the series. The pacing of the series seemed very combusted, like it feels very compressed. Now, the plot I understood. You have 3 years, you want it to be exciting. You kind of have to putty out the first 2 years of the plot, and then the last year you can get to work. Or 6 months, really. But that makes sense. You know, you have to kind of stretch things out if you want anything to happen. And I understand that. I'm not happy about that, but it's understandable in a lot of ways. So, what is my big issue? My big issue then is if I understand the plot, I wish they could change it, but I understand that is just the natural consequence of having 3 years, is the characters. Because when you don't have a plot, I noticed XYZ is very character-driven in the middle. Like, a lot of character. Problem is, there isn't much character development for being such a character-driven story in the middle, because characters are what really drives it in the middle, but the problem is the characters stay very static throughout the middle of the series. I mean, there is really, like, no character development going on. I mean, like Bonnie and Clement would probably be the most notorious lack of character development. I mean, Bonnie is so cliche, so is Clement. Like, come on. Clement to gear on. Oh, Ash Science is amazing. It's so gimmicky. Like, I know it's a child series, but still, that's, like, such a gimmick. And then you got Bonnie, who's like, Pokemon, I love them all. And yes, I get it. It's cute. It's part of the series. It's what makes it such a great little child. But it just doesn't work. And, like, then you got, like, Ash and his Pokemon team. They really didn't make any progress until near the end of the series when they're, like, fighting legendaries, and it was like, yeah, we got all this progress. It irks me in a lot of ways that the character development just didn't move forward. Like, there were small incremental changes, but they were so far in between each other. Like, there was just such big gaps, and then there were so many things that remained so cliche that it was like, why are we doing this? It really upset me in many ways. Like, that's one of the reasons why I didn't review XY, because aside from the first 3 episodes, the rest of it was really irking me. Like, I was like, there's the occasional character development, I'm like, yeah, but the rest of it was like, why are we still doing this? So, that would be my big critique, and probably why I don't like XY as nearly as much as I like XYZ. And then, in addition, we have big problems, also, with how truncated the Serena arc is. So, I mean, a lot of people hated Serena because, and when I say hated Serena, I mean, like, mainly anti-shippers hated her because, like, she was like, oh, she's just a cute girlfriend of Ash that just does useless stuff. And that was partially true for the first part of the series. I mean, she really did not have much character going for her until later in the series. But the problem was, it just came so quick that, like she did little things like, oh, you know, we saw, like, little improvements happening, but the problem was they weren't significant enough until the end when Serena's character arc just shot up, and it was like, yeah, Serena's strong, she's independent, she's ready to go. It's like, where did that come from? Like, we don't know where that came from. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and, you know, that wasn't really enough time for people to warm up to her. Like, she wasn't giving people who weren't already for her anything to kind of latch onto. Like, she was, like, even if she was playing the long game, it would have taken years for her to get to where she is now, naturally, at the pace she was going at the beginning of the series. But now she's at a great place, but unfortunately, a lot of people have short attention spans. That's why TLDR is such a thing on the internet. I mean, they didn't have time for her slow little tiny increments through XY, and then finally when she shoots up in XYZ, they're like, well, where was that in X and Y? I mean, I saw her growing, personally, and I appreciated that, because by the time that I got a little like, what's going on, but then I realized that she is growing, so that prevented me from joining the why is Serena so shallow crowd, because I realized that she was growing. And we got to see a lot of that growth in the XYZ, especially near the end. But again, it just was too much, too late. Because you hear the term too little, too late, but this is too much, because we just kind of had this spike in Serena growth, and that doesn't make sense. And then Ash's story arc, Ash stayed very static throughout the series. Like, we liked where he was, but part of the reason why we like the series is how Ash grows. Like, Ash's growth, like, he growed in his battling abilities, but he had, like, zero growth as far as character. Like, the big thing that happened with Ash was near the end when he lost there, and that's when Serena also had her spike. It was, like, all the character development hit there. And, like, we don't see much about Clement or Bonnie either until the end. We see this big spike in their growth. Like, why? It upsets me in so many ways, and it really should irritate you. I mean, that's probably why I only reviewed the end of XYZ, because before that, I was so upset about the character development, there was really nothing for me to talk about. At all, because it was the occasional episode, but aside from that, it was like, why is this happening? And it irked me way more than it should have. But the fact is, it did. So, my irritation at the slowness of the pacing and the character development aside, any other issues that I had? Yes, I had one more issue. My issue was the fact that it took so dang long for Ash to notice. Like, this is a consistent thing. Ash, you took so dang long to notice. And also, my final issue would be the fact that what happened? Why? I mean, the Greninja goodbye was just, I did not like the Greninja goodbye. The Greninja goodbye episode really made me mad. It was like, dude, seriously, this seems like a lame excuse. Yeah, you have this special gift to see things, so you're gonna have to stay here. What? No, that's... I mean, Greninja gets a special excuse, but I mean, like, that's like the most BS excuse ever. It's like, why? No, just stop it. Okay. So, all that aside, all the strangeness aside of this entire thing and how odd it is, we got one little issue. One tiny little issue. I have not praised this series yet enough. So, okay, now it's time to dig into the praise. This is the part that I feel more suited for because I've been doing this all the while. So, what did I love about this series? What absolutely made this series the best series ever? And it's not Amore shipping that made this series the best. That's definitely a big factor, trust me, but this series could have just had Amore shipping and been absolutely terrible. I loved the fact that Ash was just so amazing throughout the series. Like, I complained that he was static, but that was mainly because he didn't remain static and there was a lack of character development throughout. Ash is like battling abilities and just the way he fought things and like the way he moved forward. And then his dip there showed that he's been plowing through this because he's developed. This series is Ash's peak is the idea. Like, Ash has like gotten up there. Ash is where he's supposed to be. And like the only growth he's really learned from the series is that like Ash has not grown much in the series, but the reason is because we know that Ash is up there. He is an amazing person. We've learned that his abilities and his skills have gotten to a point where he doesn't have much room for improvement. Ash is already amazing, and that's the whole idea of the XYZ series, because we see Ash just moving forward and he doesn't talk much. The only thing is he needs a little more, time to work out what he believes in and such, and hone his abilities. But as far as like character growth and stuff, we see in the XYZ series that Ash is there already. He has the attitude that makes you a Pokemon Master. He has the drive and determination. And that's like the thing that we're supposed to see. And like, Amore shipping is supposed to draw attention to that. Like, I mean, like, people saw it as a attraction, but the way I see it is like, that's why Serena's into him. Ash has the drive, motivation, and stuff that she lacked throughout most of the series. And it's amazing. Like, this whole series is about drive, determination, goals, and that's something I can really dig into as an athlete. Like, yes, that is a great idea. I love that, and that's why like the distractions of the little cliche things really tick me off, because the series is just such it just has a lot of the trademarks that I think make shonen anime so great, and I feel like to develop that more would just that would be amazing. Like I just love it. It's so good. And then like the villains too, they had such a deep like the idea that like the idea about like human like flaws and stuff. Like yeah, we're flawed beings. We're weak. We have our goal. We have our limits. But that's where the team aspect comes in. Another thing as an athlete you can really dig into. You're a team. Like you might not be the strongest person. Heck, you all might not be able to complete something but as a group you can drive it forward. And that's the idea. Surmounting obstacles using strength, determination, teamwork. It's like yes, I love it. It's an amazing series. It's just an amazing message that is why just what makes it all great. And that is probably why like Sun and Moon is upsetting me so much, is because it's going to be departure from all these awesome stuff they built up in this series. Oh man, it's so great. I mean, words can almost not express how much I just love the messages. And then the battles were amazing battles. Like the way they did this, like the spiritual communication between yes, I loved it all. There was like nothing like I could really like the battles were impeccable. Like there's nothing like I mean like people say like, oh, why didn't Ash do it? Come on, errors in battle. Okay, fine. So you're gonna like critique the battles because the people doing them aren't perfect human beings? No. The battles were amazing. It's between two flawed people. The series is about flawed people who do things together to get stuff done, and they use their determination to try to push through their flaws. And that is what makes this series great. And then Amore shipping shows the place where someone's at, they have flaws, they're not really determined and stuff, and they work their way that because, man, maybe their goal is Ash, but their goal is not just, like Serena's line at the end, it says, Ash, you are my goal, is not so much that Ash is her goal in a romantic sense. Yes, that's the case, but it's also that Ash is her goal, as in, like, she wants to be like Ash. That is her goal. She wants to be driven, she wants to be determined, she wants to be mature. That is what she wants to be. She wants to be a person who's like Ash, and yes, worthy of Ash, but she wants to be like Ash. And that is a great goal to have, Serena. But it's such a good series. And then, like, Bonnie's goal, too. Like, Bonnie, we also see that drive developing in Bonnie. Bonnie, a character who has been so shallow and just so annoying throughout the series, she actually, like, develops, like, that drive. We see that drive developing in her, too. It's a contagious thing. The drive to perform, the drive to succeed. It's such a good, and it's just, it's so amazing. And then Clement, we see Clement's motivation too. Like, it doesn't have to be this physical or like battle. You can also have mental goals too. Like, it's showing that whatever your goal is, whoever you are, you can achieve. You can do it. You need determination. You need friends. You need work. You can do it. It's such an amazing thing. Like, I don't see, like, it's such an amazing, like, if you hate on this series, you're obviously hating on it because you either A, don't like Pokemon, B, don't like Amore shipping, or C, you're just a jerk, because this is an amazing, like, message that anybody should really, like, if you think determination, teamwork, strength, embracing your flaws and using and working around them is not a good thing, I don't see what your problem is, because it's obviously there. You have to figure that out, because it's not my job to determine what your flaws are. And yes, I have flaws. We all have flaws. I'm not saying I'm perfect for embracing it. I'm not saying anyone who's embracing the series is perfect. I'm not saying people who don't embrace the series is perfect. I'm saying that this is a series that shows you what you need to do. Like, this series has such a good message. And I love it for what it is. It's a great series. I love it. I'll see you guys later. Draspee out.